Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for what will be a really fun lesson with our teacher, Jack Stockin. As you all know, members of the class, if you have questions about today's lesson, please leave them for Jack on the class page. He does an incredible job of responding to all of our questions there, so we can all keep learning together there. In the lesson library, you can also even search for suit combinations or other terms. There are dozens and dozens of lessons to keep exploring in the lesson library. If you haven't explored recently, highly encouraged. Also, be sure to check out this lesson's lesson worksheet and the two featured hands, which if you are watching in the lesson library, you should see it right beneath this video. Many thanks to all of you, the members of the class. We sure appreciate you. I think that's enough. Let's get to it. Let me find our teacher and call him on up to the stage. Here he comes.
Hi, Bashir.
Hey there, Jack. This should be a fun one.
Yeah, it's always a good one. Suit combinations and finesses. It's very important when you're playing as declarer. A suit will always have a right way and a wrong way of playing it. And there's quite a few. We start with the easy ones, and we'll get harder ones towards the end.
All right. Now we should, remind folks, even if you're just watching by replay, keep those thinking caps on, because you're still, you're in the hot seat. So respond to Jack's questions, and at the end of the lesson, if you have a hard time with any specific thing, you can leave a question for Jack on the class page.
That's right. There will be obviously on the website you've got the posting page, and I'm always happy to answer the odd question there, especially for those watching in replay who don't get a chance to do it in the live lessons.
All right, Jack, I'll turn it over to you. To everyone else, thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you at the next lesson as well.
Yeah.
See you, Jack.
Thanks, okay, see you soon. Right, let's go, everyone. So this is an improver lesson on suit combinations. Let's see what we do. Well, we start with the basics. Most finesses are playing low cards towards your honor cards. Most of the time. There are the odd exceptions, but here you play the two of hearts towards the queen and hope that second player has the king of hearts, in which case you'll make two tricks. And then a third, in hand B for Bravo, you would play the two of hearts to the queen. And if it wins, return to hand and then play the three of hearts towards the jack. And you'll make three tricks whenever West has the king of hearts. So 50-50. Most finesses are 50-50. So here's the first question for you of the lesson. How would you try and make three heart tricks? And of course, the beauty of those who watch in replay is you can pause now and have a little bit of time to think about it. But you can't make more than three. How can you try and make three of them? And assume the suit divides 3 and 2. You've got to work out which hand you want to be in first. And clearly, with most finesses, you want to be in declarer's hand. Yeah, you want to be playing towards your honours. It'd be a big mistake to play the king or the queen of hearts first from dummy. You'll always lose two tricks. Should we have a look at the answer? There you go. Lead the four of hearts towards the king. And when that wins, come back to hand and lead the five of hearts towards the queen. These are finesses, 50-50. And if the ace jack 10 is to your left, West will only ever make the ace of hearts. All right? If the ace jack 10 was with East, fourth player, yeah, you'll always lose two tricks. So towards the honours is the thing here. And West is caught between a rock and a hard place. I mean, they might play their ace of hearts on the second round, but they will only ever make the ace. You will make both your king and your queen as long as you play towards those honours. Well, lots of suit combinations today. Let's be greedy. How can you try and make all 5 heart tricks here in, say, 4 hearts? You will need a bit of luck, but bridge is all about playing with the odds. If you play with the odds over a long period of time, you'll benefit. So you've got to think about where you would like. Obviously, we need to be playing for declarer. That's a given. I won't keep saying that because on most of these hands, you play towards your honours. But when you play the 4 of hearts and West plays low, are you going to put in the 10 of hearts? Well, or the 9 or the 8. Or are you going to put in the queen? Should we find out? Of course, you have got the pause button as well up your sleeve. you're going to play to the 10. Okay? And then when that wins, you'll come back to your hand, declare as hand in another suit, and you'll play the 5 of hearts. Okay. And lead to the 9, which will also win. And you come back to hand one final time, which you'll normally always be able to do, and play the 6 of hearts to the Jack of hearts to the Queen. This is known as the deep finesse. Yeah, playing to the 10, 9, or the 8 there. You're finessing both the King and the Jack of hearts at the same time. It will always be right. If you've got Ace, Queen, 10, opposite 3 little ones, it'll always be right to play to the 10 first. Of course, you won't always win. Imagine if the King and the Jack of hearts were with East, with 4th player, then you'd always lose 2 tricks. Yeah. But you will gain 3. So, that's lose to win. So I think that's an important point there. Play to the 10. And all comes with experience. You will find it easier to do that once you've been playing a bit longer. Let's go straight on to our first hand on BBO. The first of our 4 set hands. There's one I prepared earlier. It looks like a 1 no trump opener to me. 12 to 14. And what would you bid with the North hand? 14 points. Of course, I will keep saying it, but you could always press the pause button to have a little think about it. But well done. If you remembered, we've to use Stayman. I think most of you will be playing Stayman now. Yeah, people do forget to use Stayman, be the most common mistake. So to use Stayman here, a 4-card major, could have 2 if you like, and 11 or more points. Great. I've even alerted it, look. Do we bid 2 hearts or 2 spades? We bid the cheaper one here, 2 hearts, to show we've got 4 cards in hearts. Slightly more tricky now for you. What's North's rebid here? Obviously, we've got the answer that we don't want, but what's the rebid? Is it 2 spades? Is it 2 no trumps? Is it 3 no trumps? Have a little think. Whilst I have a sip of water, first do work all this talking. So what they do now is they rebid 3 no trumps. Okay, not 2 spades, that would show a 5-card suit. So 3 no trumps here shows 13 or more points, enough for game. And we'll tell you what else it means in just a second. If we only had 11 or 12 points, by the way, we'd rebid 2 no trumps. That's why you need 11 or more points to use Stayman. When you get the answer you don't want, you retreat into 2 no trumps. What does South do here, if anything? Well, they put their thinking cap on. They think to themselves, hang on a sec, this is strange. Partners use Stayman, and they clearly don't have heart support. So they must have 4 spades. So for the first time in the auction, out of the blue, South bids 4 spades, confident that his partner's got 4 cards in spades. If they don't have 4 cards in spades, there'll be a post-mortem after the hand to try and work out why. But yeah, it does promise 4 spades. That 3 no trump bid. Leading the 10 of clubs, promising the 9. Okay, so thinking about this hand, I'm thinking first of all whether to draw trumps or not. That's a question I've decided quite quickly. And then the second dilemma, never play too quickly at trick 1, is whether to play the ace or the queen of clubs from the dummy. Good. Have you made your plan as well? I've made mine. Let's go. So it is right to finesse there. West might have the king of clubs. I say might. Generally, we don't lead from a king in a trump contract. Never lead from an ace. Of course, the 3 of hearts would be strictly verboten. That's forbidden in German, if you didn't know. Pardon the accent. But yeah, try hard not to lead from a king either. It's dangerous. So the king wins as expected. And which card would East play next? Having won the king of clubs. They continue with clubs? Or do they switch suits? If so, which card do they switch to? That's the virtue. One of the many virtues of watching in replay, of course, is you do get to pause whenever you want. But the Jack of Hearts promising the 10, which we cover to force out the ace. Top of a remaining doubleton. That's a useful habit to get into in bridge. You're leading a doubleton. You would lead the 9, but even halfway through the hand, top of a remaining doubleton. Winning with the king. And what should we do next? Clearly, it's right to draw trumps here. There's no reason not to. So we need to get to dummy. Safest way is with a club. To the ace. And here's a thing. Do we play the 2 of spades now? Or do you think it's better to play the 9? Which one? 2 or the 9, or don't you think it matters? Well, actually, much better to play the 9 for reasons that will come clear very shortly. Second player play low. And what should we play for my own hand? Queen, 10, 5. So here we don't need to overtake with the 10 of spades. If we made the mistake, let's just go back in time a second. If we play the mistake of playing the 2, it's only a small mistake to be honest, you'd still play to the 10. Yeah, the deep finesse. Then you'd have to go back to dummy to repeat the finesse, which is could be slightly awkward. But either way, we must finesse deeply. So we can actually start with a 9 here. Let it run. And it's our lucky day. Yeah. King and the jack of spades are both with these. So we play another spade now. To the queen. Draw the last trump. Now what would you play? Well, the jack of clubs is a winner. So we can discard the losing heart on that, which is handy. Where are we? So now we can ruff a heart in dummy. Delighted to see delighted to see hearts divide 3-3. Ace of diamonds. Now notice we didn't need to take the diamond finesse on this hand, which would have lost. And we're going to get a Brucey bonus with the 13th heart. So that would be the top score. 4 spades plus 1. Well played, everyone. I got your vibes about doing the deep finesse. But the key to that hand, really, well, with the bidding, was using the stamen. And, of course, crucially, doing the double finesse of the spades. Right, let's go back to the classroom for some more combos. Okay, here's an interesting one. Saying we're playing in 1 no trump. We need to try and develop tricks out of hearts. On a good day, I have to tell you, we can make 3 tricks here. But which one should we play from the dummy? We start with the 2. Second player plays low. Do you think you're going to put in the jack of hearts here? Or the 9 or the 8? They're the same. Well, you can pause if you want to, but let's get on with it. You should put in the 9 or the 8, your choice. I tend to put in the higher one. Okay, so that loses to the queen of hearts, not surprisingly, but what we have successfully done is finesse not only the king of hearts, but the 10 of hearts as well. That's the key thing here. We've gone deep undercover and we finesse the 10 of hearts. So, okay, so that loses to the queen. They continue with their suit. We get back in at some point. We nearly always do. Say the contract was 1 no trump. Play the 3 of hearts to the 7. 8 of hearts from the dummy, which wins. One final time we come back to hand in a new suit. Play the 4 of hearts to the 10 and put in the jack of hearts. So we will actually make, on this particular layout, this favorable layout, we'll make 3 heart tricks. Yeah, imagine if the king 10 was with east, then we'd only ever make 2 at the most. Right, let's move on. A lot of suit combos here. How can we try and make 3 heart tricks here? And again, on all these hands, you can be in either hand. Normally, you get a choice of whether you can be with declarer or dummy. So what do we do here? What's the finesse position here, do you think? Is it playing the queen of hearts first? Or is it doing something else? We'll have a look. Shall we find out? missing the king, jack, and the 10. So finesse position here is to start with the ace of hearts, just in case there's a singleton king, by the way. That's why we're doing that. So play the 5 of hearts to the ace, and crucially, play the 2 of hearts towards the queen. That's your finesse. Yeah, it's a common mistake. Some improvers start by playing the queen of hearts. That will never, ever gain, because West would always cover with the king of hearts, and they'd always lose 2 tricks. Yeah, the only way of trying to make the queen is to play towards it. And every time that East has the king of hearts there, you'll make your queen. Of course, they're always going to make their king of hearts here. But on this particular layout, you'll only ever lose 1 trick if you play towards the queen. Okay. Contrast that, of course, if West had the king, jack, 10, you'd always lose 2 tricks. 50-50, so towards the queen there. Yes, we started off with easy ones. They're getting a little bit harder. How can we try and make all 4 heart tricks here? You're going to need a bit of luck, because most of the time you're going to lose one. But there is a combination which will allow you to make all 4 heart tricks. But obviously we start in declarer's hand. But do we start with the 5 of hearts or the jack? Place your bets. You might think it's 50-50. It's not. Do you start with the jack of hearts? Or is it better to play the 5 of hearts to the queen? And here's a secondary thing. Well, I will tell you the answer. You better start with the 5 of hearts to the queen. And that actually wins. What do you do next? Having successfully played the 5 of hearts to the queen. We'll have a look in the answer, shall we? Now. So this is the only combination where you can make all 4 tricks if West started with king doubleton. So that's fairly unlikely. But you have to play for those odds in bridge, because every now and again it will happen. So you play the 5 of hearts to the queen, and then you catch the ace of hearts, hoping for king doubleton. It's more tricky, that combination. Notice it wouldn't work if you played the jack of hearts, because an experienced West would always cover with the king. So go jack of hearts, king, ace, and East 10 of hearts would be promoted into a winner. That's why we cover an honor with an honor, by the way. It promotes the card for our, well, normally for our partner, sometimes ourselves. Good. Okay, slightly different one here than what we've been doing. You're in 1 no trumps. You can afford to lose quite a few tricks. How can we try and make a 3rd heart trick here? You're playing in 1 no trump. You're short of tricks, but you can lose 1 or 2. That's not a problem. How can you make a 3rd heart trick? You're always going to make the ace king. Which hand do you want to be in? Would you like to start in dummy here? Or would you prefer to start in declarer's hand? And it is 50-50, by the way, the odds of making that jack of hearts. Should we have a look at the answer? Okay, the finesse position here, again, a slightly more difficult one. They do get harder as we go on. The first ones are easy. You play the 3 of hearts towards the jack here. A bit like that one when we had 4 to the ace, opposite 4 to the queen. You play towards the honor you'd like to win. The common mistake here is to get to dummy and play the jack of hearts first. That will never work. That will never give you a 3rd trick, because East would always cover with the queen. And now they'd make the 10 and the 9. Yeah, so here, play the 3 of hearts. Second player play low. They probably will play the 5. Up with the jack of hearts. And that's your 3rd trick. Yeah, I mean, if they play the queen of hearts, you know, it's a free world. That's fine. You make your jack later on. Contrast that. If you put the hearts over to East, yeah, you'd only ever make 2 tricks. 50-50. I mean, suit combinations, all about learning them over the coming weeks and months. I do not expect you after this lesson suddenly to be the world's expert on all these suit combinations there, because there are quite a lot of them. Here's another one, talking of which. And some of them are quite different in a small way, you know, as well, which makes it harder. And this is a lesson you can definitely come back to at a later date in weeks or months to come. Now, how can we try and make all 4 heart tricks here? Is this possible? We're only missing the queen. But for a start, you know, is it better to finesse here? Or is it better to play the ace and the king first? What do you think is better with the odds? Right, let's have a look at the answer. Okay, well, a really experienced player would play the ace of hearts first if they got a chance, just in case West had a singleton queen. But either way, having done that, we get to dummy and we run the jack of hearts. If you forgot to cash the ace of hearts first, it's not the end of the world. You just have to hope that West didn't start with singleton queen. But either way, you get to dummy and run the jack of hearts. East wouldn't cover. No, you don't cover an honor. When you see the jack 10 in dummy, you cover second time. So you play the ace of hearts first, over to dummy in a new suit, and run the jack of hearts. And every time that East has the queen, you're going to make all 4 tricks, as long as they divide 3 and 2. And remember the rhyme. I think we might be doing the rhyme later, I'm not sure, but 8 ever, 9 never, when you're missing the queen. So what that means is if you've got 8 cards between you and you're missing the queen, it's better to finesse. 9 cards you play for the drop. The ace, i.e. the ace king, hoping they divide 2-2. Let's play hand 2 on BBO. Here we go, one I prepared earlier. Right. So, ooh, nice hand. 17, 26 points. Wow. We need a calculator for that. There it is. $26 points, yes. Animated caption. I'm sure you're all going to open 2 clubs. I'm even going to alert it. Do you remember what the response is? I'm sure you do. You can never pass 2 clubs. You bid the waiting bid, we call it now, 2 diamonds. 0 to 10, 0 to 12, there's no upper limit. Just as a waiting bid. Artificial. Partner, tell me more. And what would the rebid be as South now with 26, do you think, balanced? 2 no trumps? 3 no trumps? 2 no trumps here is 23, 24. A jump to 3 no trumps, 25, 26. Balanced. Would you do anything more with the north hand? Would you pass? Would you bid again? What do you think? Is there a chance of a slam? And we have done this lesson, of course. Remember the rhyme? Do you remember the rhyme for whether to be in 6 no trumps? 33 for 6 NT. So North thinks to themselves, I've got 7 points. Partner's got 25, 26. So if they've got 26 plus 7, I'm not great at maths, but I know that's 33. You want to be in 6 no trumps. So what bid do you think they make to invite slam here? Well, 4 no trumps here is the quantitative raise. It's not Blackwood when it's preceded by no trumps. It says to partner, are you minimum? In which case pass. Or are you maximum? Here, maximum, 26 bid the slam. Yeah, same as 1 no trump, 4 no trumps. Invitation to slam. Right. Well, 6 no trumps it is. We've upped the ante. Count certain tricks. I'm sure you have. How many are we counting? Well, I'm counting 11. That's good. We only need 1 more. But where is it coming from? Is it obvious? We'll find out. Which card are you going to play precisely now at trick 2? Well, as most of you will know, we go for extras first. It'd be a big mistake to play off all your winners. Yeah, we go for extras first. And the gold dust is sitting there in front of us. But which club do we put in? This is the key moment that's arrived. Do you put it, clearly you need to finesse, but do you put in the jack of clubs? Or do you put in the 9? Try not to look at the east-west cards. I'm not looking at them. I'm focused. So very well done. So it is difficult, this, and actually not many people did it when we did this hand before lockdown in face-to-face. You need to finesse. deep. So the king, at the moment, we're finessing the king of clubs, the queen, and crucially, the 10 of clubs here. So it loses to the queen. I'm not surprised by that. I'm not upset. Let's say they come back a spade, let's say. 2 weeks is there. Win with the ace. And we're back on with the clubs now. So, of course, you put in the jack of clubs. Yeah. Hoping that East doesn't have the king of clubs. That would be pretty unlucky. If East had both the king and the queen of clubs, we'd be one down. So that wins, of course. That's going to be our 12th trick, actually. Ace of clubs. And I will just play. We've all got winners left. I'm just going to play them out so we don't get blocked. So unblock the queen of hearts. Over to hand with a diamond. And we can claim the rest. Look, declare as hand is full of winners. We're going to make 6 no trumps here. So I'm just going to claim those last few tricks because we've done the hard work. And there's 990. More like 1440 because we're vulnerable. 1,440. Crucially, they're very well done if you finesse that 9 of clubs. That was the key play. Some people actually make this hand by kind of accident, if you like. They don't do that, and they make an extra heart trick, but that's relying on West throwing away their hearts. So they sometimes make this hand, even though they didn't play it as perhaps they should. And let's go back to the classroom. Oh, yes, that's what I was talking about earlier. I thought it was coming up. 8 ever, 9 never. So this is when you're missing the queen. There's a picture of our beloved queen, Elizabeth. So as I said, yeah. So ever means with 8 combined cards you finesse. It's more likely that the finesse will work. Never when you've got 9 combined cards. You play for the drop. People often remember the rhyme, but they forget what it's to do with. Okay, it's just missing the queen, not the king, just the queen. So given that, everyone, how can you try and make all 4 heart tricks with this one? Are you going to finesse? Or are you going to play the ace and the king of hearts first, hoping the queen falls? Should we have a look at the answer? Of course, you can pause the pause button for as long as you like. Yeah, well, the experienced player will play the ace of hearts first, just in case of singleton queen. But then you go to dummy and play the 2 of hearts to the jack. Definitely finessing when you're missing 5 cards in the queen. 8 ever. Good. Yeah, I mean, if West has the queen of hearts, you know, you'll lose 1 trick. But whenever East has the queen of hearts here, 50-50, you'll make all 4. I don't mind, particularly if you don't play the ace of hearts. That's more of an experienced play to make. But it saves you a trick if there's a singleton queen with West. Okay. What about this one? You're playing in 3 no trumps. You need to make a couple of extra tricks. Can be in either hand. Normally in bridge, you can be in either hand. How can you make extra tricks there in hearts? Do you think you should play the queen of hearts first? So, sorry, let's make extra. Let's try and make 3 out of 4 tricks here. But do you think it's wise to start with the queen of hearts? Or should you start in dummy? Made up your mind? Let's have a look at the answer. So play the ace of hearts first, just in case of singleton king, and then play towards the queen jack. Okay, so play the 2 of hearts. Second player will probably play low. You win with the jack of hearts. Return to dummy, and then play the 3 of hearts towards the queen. So with this layout, this fortunate layout, you'll make 3 tricks. You'll make the ace of hearts and both the queen and the jack. The mistake would be to run the queen of hearts first. Yeah, that will lose to the king. You'll only ever make 2 tricks there. Good. Let's move on. Well, yes, there's the answer for you, actually. How can Declare make all 4 heart tricks there? That's a tricky one, actually. Yeah, even it's quite tricky when you can see them laid out. 4 to the jack opposite 4 to the ace king. Well, there's no 10 of hearts there. There's actually no finesse position with this hand. It's a bit of an awkward one. Or should I say the odd one out? So with this one here, your only hope is for a doubleton queen. It's quite a hard one, this one. Don't worry if you don't see it immediately. You can let it waft over like the warm breeze. So this one here, your only hope is for a doubleton queen. So play the ace king of hearts. There's no finesse position, actually, because if you a common mistake here would be to run the jack of hearts. East would always cover with the queen. You're going to be no better off. You'll always lose to the 10 and the 9 later on. So that would be an exceptional one, really, where there's no finesse position. There's the answer, look. This one, you're playing in 4 hearts. You've got 9 between you. How would you play this combination? Better to play to the jack of hearts? Or should you play the ace king? Well, I'll tell you the answer. Should we have a look? It's 8 ever, 9 never, which means you don't finesse the never bit. So with 9 cards between you missing the queen, you bash out the ace king. There you go. Hoping they divide 2-2. Or a singleton queen, maybe. Known as playing for the drop. You hope they divide 2-2. Let's play another hand on BBO. Hand 3, actually, I think. One I prepared earlier. Here we go. Uh, 17 points, 1 heart. Where are you with the north hand? You got 9 points. You could choose between 1 no trump dustbin, 6 to 9, or 2 clubs. Well, I would apply the rule of 14 here to tell me whether I'm strong enough to put a new suit at the 2 level as responder. So rule of 14 is total points, which is 9, added to number of cards in longest suit. Well, we've got 6 clubs, so that's 15. So we easily pass the rule of 14. We can bid 2 clubs. Would you overcall 2 diamonds with East? Yes. Lead directing. Yeah, good suit. Basically, partner will lead a diamond, which is what you want. What's South's next bid, do you think, with 17 points? Clearly, they need to bid their hearts again, but at what level? Well done if you jump to 3 hearts here. Show a 6-card suit, repeating, but crucially, 16 or more points. Remember, you jump in your own suit as opener with 16 plus. 2 hearts here would only show 12 to 15 points. So that means North is now well placed to bid game, knowing of the fit and the points. Okay, so 4 hearts it is. And what would you lead with the West hand? Well, to keep your partner in a good mood, best to lead their suit, a diamond, yeah. And from 3 cards, you lead low from an honor. Okay, well, I'm just thinking about drawing trumps or not. That's really the main thought in my hand. In my head even. Might as well try the king. Some people do lead away from aces. It's been known to happen. It sometimes happens at the bridge club I play at on a Monday afternoon, although I'll keep the name of the club anonymous. But yes, as expected, we lose a diamond, cash the queen, and switch to a spade. Dummy's weaker suit. Well, there's no need to take the finesse just yet. So we can play the ace of spades here. We can always finesse at a later date. And it's definitely right to draw trumps here. So well done if you spotted that. But how do we draw them? Try not to look at the opposition's cards. It'll make it harder for you if you don't look at if you don't look at the East-West cards. But yes, how are we going to try and just have one loser here? We're always going to lose a heart, however hard we try. The objective is not to lose 2 heart tricks. Otherwise, we'll be going 1 down. So what do you think we do? Do we go to dummy? with the ace of clubs and run the jack of hearts? Or do we do something else? Well, this is from one of our slides earlier, and it won't help to play the ace king either. You know, you'd always lose one trick, if not two. So the finesse position here, what is the finesse position? Well done if you spotted it. It's playing a low heart towards the jack. That's your 50-50. Second player play low. They probably and should play low. And we rise with the jack. And suddenly, we're only ever going to lose one heart, not two. If you do anything else, you'll lose two heart tricks. So towards jack of hearts there, wins. We can draw out the rest of the trumps. Like that. Leaving the winning trump out there, we now go to dummy, king of clubs first, higher card from shorter holding, over to the ace. And now we're well placed to take the spade finesse, aren't we? They shouldn't cover, seeing the 10 there. Remember, you cover second time round if there's two adjacent honours. There's our 50-50 finesse. We'll just play out the king of spades. And give them up their trump to the queen. And we'll take the last two tricks with the trumps. There we go. 4 hearts made. 420. Good. Quite a tricky suit combination, that. Yeah, quite a few improvers, intermediates would get that one wrong. Makes a big difference. If you had the 10 of hearts there and either dummy or declare along with the jack, that's a huge difference. Then you would finesse if you had the 10 of hearts to back up the jack. But just with the lone honor there, you play towards it. Let's go back to the classroom. When you're missing the king, you finesse most of the time. The only time you play for the drop, missing the king, is when you have 11 cards between you. You hope they divide 1-1. So how can we try and make all 5 heart tricks here? Well, clearly, you need the lead to be in dummy. But yeah, also, do you start with the 3 of hearts or the 10 of hearts here? What do you think would be best if you're in the dummy? And are you going to finesse or are you going to lay down the ace of hearts? Should we have a look at the answer? Yeah, definitely finesse when you're missing the king with 10 cards between you. A singleton king would be unlikely. Okay, and even better to start with the 10 of hearts because, yeah, so 10 of hearts, second player plays low with the 2 and then just play the 8. Number 8, yeah. The advantage of playing the 10 of hearts here, as opposed to playing the 3 to the queen, is that when the 10 of hearts wins, you're in dummy to take the second finesse. Good. What about this one? Got 11 hearts between us now. We're only missing 2. Do you play for the drop? Or should you finesse the king of hearts here? Well, only missing 2. There's the answer. You're best off laying down the ace. Hope they divide 1-1. Good. Well, we've done a lot today. We've certainly done a lot in this lesson. It's packed full of combos. We're not quite finished yet. A few more to go. How would you play this combination? So you've got 10 between you, only 3 missing. So clearly, if they divide 2 and 1, you're only going to lose. You're not going to lose any tricks. But can you think about if they divide 3-0? Do you think you should start with the king of hearts here, or better to start with the ace of hearts? That's your objective. Which one is best? Should we look at the answer? Yeah, best to play the king of hearts here. Retaining the finesse position of the ace jack. It's called retaining the finesse position. That's the technical word. It'd be a mistake to play the ace of hearts. If you play the ace of hearts first, there's no finesse position and you'd lose a trick. So here, as long as East started with the queen 10-9 of hearts, you play the king of hearts first. West shows out and then you take the finesse to the jack. Just bear in mind that if West had the Queen 10-9 of hearts, you'd always lose one trick, however hard you tried. But if East has the Queen 10-9, by starting with the King, you can then finesse later. Finally, we're going to move on to the hardest thing of this lesson, which is the principle of restricted choice. So if this is going over your head, it is quite hard. It's for more experienced players in the class. Don't worry. But this occurs, and if you don't understand the theory behind it, again, don't worry. I don't particularly understand the theory. I just know it works. So this occurs when the declarer is missing two adjacent honors, say the Queen and the Jack, and one appears on the first round. It then becomes twice as likely that the missing honor is with the other opponent. Mathematical probability. Known as restricted choice, because if the player did have a singleton honor, it was the only card they could play. Well, should we have a look and try and put the theory into practice? So how can the declarer make all 5 heart tricks? Well, you've got 9 between you. So at the outset, you're going to play the ace and the king. Okay? Yeah. Hopefully they divide 2 and 2. But hang on a second. Do you think it's better to start with the ace of hearts here? Or is it better to start with the king? All right, that's the first thing you've got to decide. I'll give you the answer in just a second. In fact, I'll give it to you now. So you can obviously pause if you want to. You should start with the king because you're retaining the finesse position of the ace 10 in dummy. That's the finesse position. Now, here goes king of hearts. Second player plays low. Dummy plays the 3. And East plays the queen of hearts. Okay? What are you going to do next? Are you going to change the way you play this suit combination? Should we have a look at the answer? You can obviously pause and have a little bit of time, more time to think about it. But you played the king of hearts, second player's played low, low from dummy, and the fourth player's played the queen of hearts. Well, when they play the queen, it's 2 to 1 more likely that it's a singleton. So you then, having played the king of hearts, you play the 6 of hearts to the 9 of hearts, and crucially, put in the 10, using the principle of restricted choice. Yeah, it's much more likely, 2 to 1 more likely that the jack of hearts is with West. The only time you'd lose a heart trick is if he started with the queen and the jack of hearts. That will only happen 1/3 of the time. You can Google it, put it into the internet, principle of restricted choice. It'll come up with all sorts of things about that. Most of which I wouldn't understand because I'm not into mathematical probability. Good? Yeah, this one is for the more experienced, for sure. Should really have an addendum on it, I think. But you play the king of queen. Yeah, you play the king, queen of hearts first. You're in 3 no trumps. And your plan really is to play the king and the queen, followed by the ace, hoping that the suit divides 3 and 3. Then you'll make all 4 tricks. But on the second round of hearts, East drops the jack. So king of hearts, everyone follows low. But on the queen of hearts, East, fourth player, plays the jack of hearts. What are you going to do next? Are you going to change the way you play this suit combination? I think we're ready for the answer. So play the king, queen of hearts, and this is a more difficult one. Again, let this waft over your head because it is for the more experienced members of the class. Quite difficult, principle of restricted choice. But yeah, having played the king, queen of hearts, you then play the 2 of hearts. Second player plays low, and crucially put in dummy's 9. Successfully finessing West's 10 of hearts. And actually, if you think about it, the heart suit's much more likely to divide 4-2 anyway than 3-3. So it is playing with the odds. A 3-3 division is only 36%. A 4-2 division is 48%. Interesting. That's a hard one, that. If you're finding it hard, then it is. Let's look at 1 or 2 addendums here. Again, for the more experienced, we always put that in as a caveat. So the less experienced don't worry too much. Well, this is interesting. I'm definitely going to finesse the queen. It'd be against the odds to play the ace king. But we've actually got a two-way finesse position here. It's unusual. We've got the Jack of Hearts, we've got the 10, we've got the 8, we've got the 9. So we could do either. So what you should do is make a psychological play here. What I would do is play the Jack of Hearts from my hand, hoping that West might make the mistake of covering with the Queen, yeah, in which case we make all the tricks. Or if West hesitates about covering, clearly they must have the Queen. They're thinking about it. So play the Jack of Hearts first, and if West hesitates, play low from the dummy. If West doesn't hesitate and plays low normally, in tempo, that's it. That's what we call it, in tempo. Jack of Hearts, second player plays low. Then I would rise with dummy's king and play the 9 of Hearts and let it run. Yeah, assuming that East is slightly more likely to have the Queen of Hearts. But that's a psychological play. If you're not getting it, the warm breeze might waft over. There's the answer, look. We've got a two-way finesse position on here. Most finesses are one-way, the ones we've been looking at in this lesson. But that's a two-way one. Clearly, if West had opened 1-no trump, you'd play them for the Queen of Hearts. Yeah, running the Jack or playing to the 9 would be the same thing. Okay, this is for the even more experienced, this one. This is just a bit of fun, really. So we know from the bidding, this is even harder than the others. You know from the bidding that West, let's say they open 1-no trump, they must have the Queen of Hearts. How do you make all 3 heart tricks here? Normally, if you didn't have any help from the bidding, you'd play the 9 of Hearts to the king, you play the 2 of Hearts back to the Jack. 50-50 finesse. But here, that's not going to work, because you know from the bidding, maybe they open 1-no trump that West has the Queen of Hearts. Have you worked this one out? Press the pause button. Should we have a look at the answer? You play the Jack of Hearts first. And if West covers, West should say West there, by the way. Play the Jack of Hearts from hand. West covers with the Queen, you win with the King. Then you play the 2 of Hearts to the 8 of Hearts and put in the 9. Known as the intra finesse. Very rare. It's not going to come up anytime soon, but it's a bit of fun for the more experienced there. Can't remember the last time I did an intra finesse. It was probably 1983. Let's just play hand 4 to bring up the last set hand. Here it is. Let's play this one, actually. Here we go. So it's a 1 diamond opener. Pass over there. 1 heart. South overcalls 1 spade. As you would. Hang on, sorry. West can bid 2 clubs. So I'm getting a bit excited. North can bid 2 spades. Yeah, they've got a fit. 3 cards. East will now pass with their very weak hand, 6 points. South will bid 3 spades with their nice hand, bidding to the level of the fit. And North, with 10 points, can take the bidding up to game. There we go. There is a convention that North could use. We had it, some of you won't have learnt it yet, called the unassuming Q bid. We're not going to talk about it now, but that's for the overcallers. Something we'll learn at a later date. Some of you might have learnt it by now. But 4 spades it is. Opening lead, King of Diamonds. And clearly, we need to draw trumps, which I would do straight away. So Ace of Diamonds. And the plan at the outset, I'm looking at the spades. I'm thinking we've got 9 between us. Yeah, so 8 ever, 9 never. So at the outset, I'm going to play the Ace King. That's my plan. So should we do that? Well, that's interesting. Maybe the plan will change now. West has dropped the Queen of Spades. Are we going to change the way we played this? Well, shall we see? So we need to get back to dummy. Second player play low. And yes, it's become, because the Queen of Spades has popped up there, it's now become, using the principle of restricted choice, it's now become twice as likely that East started with a Jack of Spades. So they wouldn't bother covering. We finesse. Yeah, we've changed the way we played it. So, and actually 3 and 1, a 3-1 division is slightly more likely than 2-2 anyway. So now we cash the king. Spades, picking up the suit for no loss. Drive out the ace of hearts. They probably switched to a diamond. Sorry, yeah, the partner suit originally. Cash the jack of diamonds, which we ruff. Queen of hearts is a winner. Let's just rattle off our trumps now, see if anything interesting happens. Yeah, we know the jack of hearts is a winner, but let's rattle off our trumps. Throwing these clubs. And what would you discard now, a club or a heart? Well, East does best to keep the same length as dummy. Yeah, it's a really good adage there. Keep the same length as dummy. So if dummy's got 4 cards, you keep 4 cards as a defender. But well done, East, for hanging on to their hearts. And they make a trick at the end, look, with a 9. So there we go, yes, 420, actually 620 because we're vulnerable. Using that principle of restricted choice, but it's a more advanced tool, that one. If you're not entirely getting it, it's something that can work on over the coming weeks and months. Right, but lots of combinations for you there. Let's go back to the classroom. If you remember just 3 things from today, really, and the finesses at the end were pretty hard. I wouldn't really pay too much attention to those addendums, you know, the intra finesse, etc. That was really hard and very rare. So most finesses, you play your low cards towards the honor cards. Really important thing to remember is with ace, queen, 10, opposite 3 small cards play to the 10. Yeah, won't always win, of course, you know. Quite often you'll lose to the king or the jack, but every time that second player has the king and the jack, you'll make all 3 tricks. So it is playing with the odds. And equally important, really, with the ace, jack, 9, opposite 3 small cards, play to the 9, which is a deep finesse. So good luck with all your finesses. That is the end of the show. As I say, may all your finesses work. They won't. No, they should work about half the time over the long term. So I'm delighted that you've joined me for this lesson on suit combinations and finesses. Definitely worth a replay visit at some time. There was a lot of finessing in that lesson, wasn't there? But hopefully, and I don't expect you suddenly, you know, to be the world's expert on all those combinations. There are too many of them. But certainly, if you picked up the main points of that lesson, your declare play will improve. But there's no substitute, as I often say, for actually, you know, playing the hands yourself. The more you play, the more these combinations come up, and the more familiar you'll become with them. You know, you imagine someone who's playing bridge for 10 years, twice a week. Yeah, the suit combinations come up time and time again. Well, that's all from me. I'm going to sign off. So a big goodbye, and I'll see you sometime soon on Learn Bridge Online.